The colony ship Prometheus Dawn had been humanity's last hope, carrying 10,000 souls away from a dying Earth toward the distant promise of New Terra. But something went wrong during the jump. The ship fractured, modules scattered across light years of empty space. Commander Jake Morrison survived in Module 7, along with 233 others. They drifted for months before finding an uncharted world. The planet was habitable barely, green enough to sustain crops, warm enough not to freeze. They named it Haven and began the brutal work of survival. 3 years passed. The colony stabilized. Jake threw himself into leadership, into building, into anything that kept his mind occupied. He never spoke about his wife and son, lost when Module 3 separated. Everyone knew anyway. Haven was too small for secrets. The settlement clustered around the main facility, a converted cargo bay turned township. Prefab homes dotted the hillside. Gardens stretched in neat rows. Children played in the streets, their laughter a strange sound after so much loss. Jake walked through it all with purpose, but no joy, a machine performing its function. That morning, he was inspecting the water filtration system when he heard the voice. "Excuse me, mister." Jake turned. A girl stood behind him, maybe 6 years old, with dark hair pulled into uneven pigtails, and a dress that had been patched too many times. She held a small basket of vegetables. "Yes?" Jake said, his tone softer than he used with adults. "Are you alone?" the girl asked, head tilted with the blunt curiosity only children possessed. Jake blinked. "What?" "Mom says lots of people here are alone now. She says it's sad." The girl shifted the basket to her other arm. "Are you alone?" The question hit harder than it should have. Jake cleared his throat. "I suppose I am." The girl nodded seriously, as if this confirmed something important. Then she smiled, bright as Haven's sun. "Then you should marry my mom. She's the kindest person ever. She makes really good soup, and she sings nice songs, and she always knows when I'm sad. You wouldn't be alone anymore." Jake stared at her. Of all the things he'd expected today, a marriage proposal from a 6-year-old wasn't on the list. "That's very sweet," he managed. "But I don't think that's how it works." "Why not?" The girl's brow furrowed. "You're nice. Mom's nice. Nice people should be together, so they're not sad." The simple logic was airtight, at least to a child. Jake found himself without a response. He'd commanded military operations, negotiated resource allocations, made life-and-death decisions. But this tiny human had completely disarmed him. "What's your name?" he asked. "Emma. What's yours?" "Jake." "Okay, Jake." Emma set down her basket and looked up at him with complete seriousness. "My mom works in the medical building. Her name's Rachel. She's really pretty too. But that's not the important part. The important part is she's kind. She helps everyone, even when she's tired. And she cries at night, sometimes when she thinks I'm asleep. Because Dad didn't make it off Earth, so she's alone too." Jake felt something crack inside his chest. The armor he'd built around his grief showing its first fissure. "Emma, I'm sorry about your father. Thank you." Emma picked up her basket again. "Will you think about it?" "About my mom?" "I'll think about it," Jake said, because what else could he say? Emma beamed. "Good. I'm going to tell her I found someone nice for her. Bye, Jake." She skipped away before he could protest, leaving him standing by the filtration system, thoroughly defeated by elementary logic. Jake tried to forget the conversation. He had work to do. The colony needed leadership, not a commander distracted by the observations of a child. But Emma's words clung to him. That night, lying in his empty quarters, he couldn't stop thinking about them. "Are you alone?" He was. He'd been alone since the jump, since the moment he realized his family was gone. He'd filled the emptiness with duty, with responsibility, with the needs of others. But emptiness remained emptiness, no matter how you decorated it. The next day, Jake found himself walking past the medical building. He didn't plan it. His feet just carried him there. Through the windows, he could see people moving inside, treating minor injuries, dispensing medication, performing the daily maintenance of keeping people alive. He saw her then. A woman with brown hair tied back, wearing the standard medical uniform, laughing at something a patient said. Her smile was genuine, reaching her eyes. She looked tired, like everyone on Haven, but there was a warmth to her that the harsh years hadn't extinguished. Jake walked away before anyone noticed him watching. But he came back the next day, and the day after that. He told himself he was just checking on colony health metrics, ensuring medical supplies were adequate. The truth was harder to admit. On the fourth day, Emma spotted him. "Jake," she ran over, grinning. "Are you here to meet my mom?" "I'm just checking on the medical facility," Jake said, knowing how weak it sounded. "Hung." Emma's expression said she didn't believe him for a second. "Come on, I'll introduce you." Before he could protest, she grabbed his hand and dragged him inside. The medical building smelled of antiseptic and recycled air. Staff nodded to Jake as he passed, recognizing their commander. Emma pulled him to a back room where the woman he'd been watching was organizing supply cabinets. "Mom, this is Jake," Emma announced. "He's alone, and I told him he should marry you because you're the kindest." Rachel spun around, eyes wide. "Emma," Jake's face burned. "I'm so sorry. Your daughter has been very enthusiastic about matchmaking." Rachel's shock melted into laughter, genuine and bright. "I am so sorry, Commander." Emma has a very active imagination and absolutely no filter. "It's fine," Jake said, and realized he meant it. "She's actually quite persuasive. She gets that from her father." Rachel's smile flickered but held. He could talk anyone into anything. An awkward silence stretched. Emma looked between them, clearly waiting for something more romantic to happen. "I should go," Jake said. "Wait," Rachel stepped forward. "Would you like some coffee? Real coffee, I mean. Someone traded me some beans from the greenhouse experiment. It's not great, but it's better than the synthetic stuff." Jake hesitated. Every instinct told him to leave, to maintain professional distance, to keep his walls intact. But Emma was watching him with those hopeful eyes, and Rachel's smile was cautious but genuine, and he was so very tired of being alone. "I'd like that," he said. They sat in the break room, drinking terrible coffee that somehow tasted wonderful. Emma played nearby, occasionally interjecting with commentary about how well the meeting was going. Rachel apologized repeatedly. Jake assured her it was fine. They talked about Haven, about the challenges of building a life on an alien world, about everything except the losses that had brought them here. "She really did ask you to marry me," Rachel said eventually, shaking her head. "Her exact words were that you're the kindest person ever and make really good soup." Rachel laughed. "Well, the soup part is true. The rest is Emma being Emma." "I don't know," Jake said quietly. "I've watched you with patience. She might be on to something about the kindness." Rachel's expression softened. "That's sweet of you to say. It's true." Jake met her eyes. "This place is harsh. People get hard. But you haven't. That's rare." "I could say the same about you," Rachel replied. "You carry everyone's burdens, Commander. Who carries yours?" The question hung between them, heavy with unspoken understanding. Two people who'd lost everything, who'd survived by becoming what others needed, who'd forgotten how to be anything else. "Maybe," Jake said slowly, "maybe your daughter had a point. Not about marriage, obviously. but about not being alone. I think I've been alone long enough. Rachel smiled, tears glistening in her eyes. Me too. Emma looked up from her toys and grinned triumphantly. They started slowly. Coffee became lunch. Lunch became walks through the colony. Walks became dinners with Emma, who narrated their courtship with the confidence of a successful matchmaker. The colony noticed, of course. People always noticed. But the gossip was warm, approving. Their commander deserved happiness. The kind doctor deserved companionship. Jake found himself laughing again, something he'd thought impossible. Rachel found herself planning futures instead of just surviving days. Emma gained a friend who listened to her stories and played elaborate games and never got tired of her questions. 6 months after a little girl asked a simple question, Jake stood in Haven's community hall, holding Rachel's hand while Emma beamed from the front row. The ceremony was simple, the words traditional, but the meaning was everything. 2 broken people choosing to be whole together. 2 survivors deciding life was worth living, not just enduring. When Jake kissed his wife, Emma cheered louder than anyone. That night, in their shared quarters, Rachel leaned against Jake's shoulder. "I never thought I'd feel this again," she whispered. "Thank you." "Thank your daughter," Jake said. "She saw what I was too scared to look for." Outside, Haven settled into night. The colony slept under alien stars, 10,000 light years from Earth. But inside one small home, 3 people formed a family from the fragments of loss. A little girl's simple wisdom had changed everything. Sometimes the bravest thing humans do isn't explore new worlds or survive impossible odds. Sometimes it's simply asking someone if they're alone and offering them a reason not to be.